Hey y'all, it's Gypsy, and I have sweet BellaLuna with me today. I had to have her on because we're talking about what card?
The moon.
The moon. And who better to talk about the moon with me than BellaLuna? So, let's go ahead and get started. I actually did do a weight trait sheet this time. I'm back to my scorecard. Yay! It's been a long time since I've actually made this happen. I felt like doing it right. I'm getting close to the end. I found my motivation, my second wind. So here we go. The moon. This is the Rider-Waite Standard. So this is our benchmark card that we are looking at. And, okay, fundamental basics of the moon. We have the moon.
Oh, really? Are you sure?
That is the moon. It looks like the sun, but it's not. It's the moon. That is the rays of light bouncing off of the moon. Reflection. And then you see here these little yods. We see yods again, which, is the first letter in the name of God or Yahweh. And they are dripping around. That is actually, I believe, not quite the only one. There's only one that also did the drops of light as yods. I am sorry. I know y'all are hearing this dee-dee video. In my videos a lot lately. It's my freaking computer saying updates. And it does it all the time. So, I'm sorry. And it does it about 10 minutes after I start my computer. So, all the time. Sorry about that. So, you're going to hear it from time to time. That's what that is. Ignore it. I do. Okay. So, and yes, I do my updates. So, for those computer people out there that are like, you got to do the updates. I do. Okay? I do. I just, not when it tells me to all the time. Back to the moon. Yods. They are falling on two canine type animals. One is a wolf, one is a dog. Can't tell them apart. Look at the ears, look at the tail. It's very simple. We also have a crawfish. This looks more like a lobster because it's gigante, but it is supposed to be a crawfish. The crawfish represents the, oh crap. Hold on. Gonna reference my book. I had these great notes that I was gonna use, and yeah, I don't know where they went. I've had them for a while and I've lost them. Here's the part about the cray-cray. One word for madness, lunacy, derives from luna, Latin for moon. Lunacy derives from Luna. BellaLuna. Crazy beautiful. That's what her name means. Latin for moon. In the Middle Ages, people believed that the souls of the insane had flown off to the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So the dog and the wolf represent the animal self, the two aspects of the human psyche, the part that's docile and, what do we call it, civilized, housebroken, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And the wolf obviously shows our wilder side, our more impulsive side, the animal within. And then we have, where's the part about, oh. And then comes the crayfish. So we call it down here in the South crawfish, but in this context, it's better. It's better to call it crayfish because we're talking about cray-cray of the moon. No, it symbolizes the most universal fears within the collective unconscious, and it's also the fact that it comes in and out of the water. It your fears raise their ugly head, but then they kind of go back into your back of your mind. So that's kind of the thought process there.
So whenever you lose something, you think about it right then, and it goes to the back of the mind.
And then you're like, find it. Yeah, or you're talking along, and you're like, wait, what are they talking about? I don't think that's the same thing.
You're thinking about something, you think about something else. You're like, what was I thinking about?
Yeah, and then you're like, wait, is it a full moon?
Yeah, just like randomly.
It says, Waite tells us it never comes completely onto land, but always falls back again. The deepest terrors are the ones that never fully take shape. So, a lot of people have irrational fears about certain things like flying, for example.
I have an irrational fear.
What's your irrational fear?
Seeing feet underneath my curtain.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She's got these big green curtains.
No.
Oh, that one? She has curtains over her closet. And she has this fear of seeing feet under the curtain.
No, but not like ordinary feet, like ghost feet or something creepy that's gonna come out and get me.
Monster feet.
Yeah, monster human feet, and it scares me. It's like the movie from The Conjuring when the feet hang down. That's where I got it from. Like, just seeing feet, random feet.
So you're saying you can't really handle the scary movies?
No, I can. But I'm just saying that they're scary because they're scary movies.
So they give you crayfish in your head.
Yeah. Crayfish all the way.
Crayfish.
I'm feeling all cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when that happens. I'll look over and I'll be like,
so that's the symbolism of the crayfish. And I'll tell you guys, I gave partial credit, or I may have given full. No, I gave partial credit because there are a lot of cards that use the crab in place of the crayfish. So it's like it's close, but it's not Arthur Waite, so you don't get full credit for a crab because it's not the same thing. It's got pinchers, but it's not the same thing. So it doesn't count. It doesn't have the flippy tail. You got to have the flippy tail.
Yeah.
What else did it have? Okay, we have the animals. What else? I said moon. Oh, water. Water is an important part because, as we know, that always, kind of represents the subconscious or the collective consciousness. So there is water in the cards. There's also a road or a path that, shows the way, so to speak, passing between these two towers. So it's like a gateway thing kind of going on here. What are you doing?
Showing the way.
Showing the way. We'll see a variation on this also as we are looking at the cards. This is a road on the ground. You'll see here, and it goes into the mountains. And then, of course, it's passing between the two towers, which, we've seen in
looks like gravestones.
The High Priestess card.
It's like gravestones.
Yeah, they're like towers or something.
They're
so turrets or whatever. Lookout towers. I don't know. There's a little guard in there.
They look like gravestones, like R.I.P.
Ew, yeah. Didn't even think about that. It does kind of look gravy. Looks serious. Looks stoic. Stoic.
Like my dad's.
Stoic. So there is the Arthur Waite standard that we are going to be comparing to. And you know what? I didn't even think about giving a point for having a face in the moon. It didn't even dawn on me. I should have given bonus points for that. So let's try to keep an eye out for it.
How does that matter?
Just because. It's just something that Arthur Waite did. You see this face looking down like it's influencing, like... There's the moon doing that. So I didn't even think to add that, but that is one of the things. So I'm going to start out with my old ones like I always do, and I'll just tell you all, Visconti got dead last. It had the least in common with Arthur Waite's version. Everybody else had more than them. Well, no, that's not true. They didn't come in dead last. I'm sorry. There's like 8 or 9, maybe even 10 cards that had 1 point. This one had 1 point because it has a moon. That's it. Just a moon. In fact, this is the one I think that I'd grabbed thinking it was Temperance before. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why it's not Temperance, it's the moon, and that's why it didn't make any sense. So, anywho, yes, it is a very simple card. We just have a homely woman holding up a moon.
Where do you
She's kind of got that gaze, like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just staring at the moon. So there's
it's like the other card. She was just holding a pillar. It's like, what fun this is.
Yeah, that's right. You did strength with me, didn't you?
Yeah, she's all...
That was Minchiati.
She's all...
That was Minchiati. That was this deck. And this one actually did okay. Well, this one only had 1 point also. It has the moon. But look!
It has a face.
It has a face. So actually, that one could technically be like a 2-pointer because it does have the bonus point that I forgot to give it. So there's that. I also think it's interesting. It's got kind of like it looks like a sundial or like a pre-clock type of thing. Yeah. And then he's got these here.
Clocks that you don't see anymore.
Yeah, this is a, God bless, a compass that helps you draw circles just right.
It's not called a compass.
Yes, it is. Compass is 2 things. It helps you find where you're going, and it makes circles. They're 2 different things.
Circle, circle, little circle.
So, and there's the Minchiati Tarot version. Definitely, tied to, it looks like time passing. We measure the moon cycles, astrology, and all that kind of stuff. So there you go.
This one has a smile.
Now, that's the Marseille. This one scored pretty high.
It has no path.
And, in fact, I think you liked this one, didn't you?
No, but I decided not to because it has no path to nowhere.
Well, you're right. It's got everything, it seems like, but the path. It's got the face. And even though they're not yods, if you look here, it's got the rays that are, like, coming down and, falling down on everything.
That was one that I kind of liked,
I gave partial credit.
kind of like. It was like...
yeah, this one, I'm not crazy about the artwork. It's wood carving, so if you keep that in mind, it's actually pretty good, but... Yeah. But you have the 2 towers, and then you have the 2 different dogs, 2 different types of animals. Sorry, not dogs. One's a wolf, one's a dog. And then we do have the body of water, with the crayfish, but we don't have the path. That's missing. And so for that reason, this one got 7 points. So this one came in, it tied for second place with another card. So those are the 3 old cards that came before Rider-Waite-Smith's deck. And so next we're going to have the one that was the most similar. It got 8 out of 8 possible points. Actually, 9 if you count the bonus point.
This one was my favorite.
That was her favorite. It's always a favorite, and it's always the first place. I swear.
Well, it's because the artwork is so awesome, and they have everything.
Yeah, it's got it all. It's got beautiful towers. It took the towers up a notch, or 7.
Look at the face.
Beautiful moon. Now, the difference is, though, this one's looking up. It's dreamy-looking moon instead of looking down like it's, directly influencing.
Well, they're all looking up, and they're all looking dreamy.
And they are all. The dog's looking up at the moon.
And so is the crawfish.
It's almost like the moon is it's like they're all influenced by something, like maybe spirit or the subconscious.
Maybe they do what the moon does.
Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, that's right. Maybe they're so under the influence of the moon that they're copying what the moon. Good call, Bella. This is why I keep her around. She's pretty smart like that.
I'm pretty awesome, too.
So we've got a cool dog. We've got a cool wolf. We've got our crawfish. We have our path that goes back into the mountains. We've got our tower. We have it all. It's all there.
And I like it because you can tell what the animals are. They're not just like,
they're not similar. You can tell that they're 2 different things. And some of these cards, it's hard to tell them apart, or almost impossible because they're exactly the same.
I think this one was like my absolute favorite, though.
This one, yeah, I really like the light gray Tarot's version.
Cute.
However, I didn't look up the artist. Oh, Romain Menetrier. Menetrier, Menetreier,
Oh, show it.
Ier, Menetrier. That's who the artist was for this.
And it has a face on the moon. Fuck you.
I'm holding it because I got it up close, by the way. I'm not ignoring you. I mean, I kind of am, but...
Don't even talk.
Yeah, we have everything, but... What was it missing? Oh, no drops of light. We don't see... See here? I gave it credit for yods, but it didn't have yods. It's still first place, but it has rays coming off. So I think that's why I gave credit. It has these rays, but it doesn't have the yods, so I shouldn't have. Those are really kind of should be 2 different things. But whatever. It's a flawed system. Okay, I make it up as I go.
You see this one? It's like the animals are bodyguards of the moon.
And I love the moon. You know what it reminds me of?
The Moon Man.
Roly Poly Oly. Yeah. Yeah, that book.
The Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon. Yeah, I don't have it in here, but yeah, Man on the Moon.
Yeah, but I like it. It looks like they're the bodyguards of the moon.
Yeah, they almost look like they're guarding something. They're not quite as. I mean, they could be under the influence because they're so serious and stoic, but they're not really reacting with the moon. So I kind of would like to see that, but it's such a cute card. I mean,
you can see the moon reflecting in the water.
Oh, you sure can. Look at that. Where the crawfish is coming in and out.
Smart.
There is symbolism there. Woo!
Don't know what it means.
All right. Next we have. Oh, I could.
Let me see this one.
Talk about it, but that'd make the video longer.
I don't really like
this
one.
is the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. I kind of like it. I like the bats. That's different. I like the fact that they brought bats into this rather than the crawfish. Bats are kind of these are like a dark animal too.
Looks like the bats are coming from the moon.
Pardon. Then we have a dog, and we have a wolf, and we have a waterfall rather than the river going across the front. If you look at this one, the water's kind of going this way, and then there's a walking path on the ground. Here we don't have that. Here we have a waterfall, but we still have that aspect of like a gateway because you have kind of this portal here that these bats are coming through. So you still get the same feel. It's just shown differently.
And the animals, like you look at them and they look like they're stern, like they're.
Yeah, these look like they
influence of the moon.
Are still kind of guardy, kind of on guard, kind of like they are with this one.
But it looks
similar in that way.
It looks like the bats are coming from the moon.
Yeah, it does. Well, the moon, yeah, but
I know,
see
it's
if
reflecting.
You look,
it's reflecting.
It's like it's showing the portal between the moon.
Or like they're coming from another
subconscious, world. Yeah, and like another world, like they're crossing through the veil. So that's a beautiful card. I like Ciro Marchetti. Bonefire Tarot came in next. And actually, Bonefire starts the 5.5 points. So this one had 6, and the others before it had 7. Illuminati had 8. So this one has
a face on the moon and an eye like it's through another world.
Yes, you still have that gateway. This one's got a lot going on. Okay, we've got some fire, which, we've got the bone fire. You're going to have fire in, I think, just about all of these. Here we have this this ribbon that's coming off of this, rather than a path or a river, it's a ribbon, and it goes up here between this gateway. So you still have that aspect. And then, of course, you've got the two canines here. And then we've got a boat, and this kind of reminds me of like the river Styx, you know, that crossing over, but not... I'm not sure how to word it. It's like it's clicking in my head, but I don't have the words right now. I feel like
it's like you're going through that. It's like you're going on your way. You're traveling to somewhere.
Well, or like having that understanding that that passage into another plane, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And then of course we have the crawfish over here. It's coming in and out of the water. Very cool rendition. Very rock and roll. I like the bonfire for that.
Some was awesome enemy.
Yeah, you guys like these a lot.
But the animals, they look similar.
Yeah, you can't really tell them apart. It looks like two little canines of some sort, but you can't really distinguish them from each other. The ears look the same, the noses look the same. I mean, they're pretty much. If there is something different about them, it's too small to see in the picture. So there you go. Moon has a face. Man, I really should have given bonus points for that. Crawfish is huge. Now this is something I want to note here. In most of these cards, the crawfish plays kind of a minor role, or it's at least on par with everything else. Case in point,
maybe it's taking place for the dogs.
Well, it's bringing this aspect of the fears to light, and the moon is much bigger. So you have more balance here. The moon isn't quite so big. The crawfish is small. Everything is kind of sharing space, whereas here, this crawfish and the moon are the two bigger focal points. This animal aspect of the human psyche is kind of diminished in this particular representation, and we see the influence of the moon and these deep-seated fears playing a more major role in this particular card. Interesting.
Hey,
next,
I just realized.
What?
This is a cat.
Yes, Steampunk Tarot has a dog versus a cat, so we have polar opposites there. I read the write-up on this, and I've read so many guidebooks at
this point. It doesn't have those little driplets, but look, it doesn't have a ray of sunshine, really. It's something is shining light on it.
Yeah, now this is interesting. Wow! Here, instead of the moon looks like it's reflecting light here, but it's getting its light rather than from the sun, from these strobe lights. And I guess, maybe that's like a steampunk thing.
LED lights.
But that's kind of interesting. It's like two different kinds of lights. I don't know if y'all can see. This has like a little gear on the side. That one's bigger. This has like wires. Yeah, they're not the same light. It's like two different lights. And I'm thinking
one
it
of them's
corresponds.
A dog and one of them's a cat.
Right, with the two different sides of the mind. I don't know if you guys have seen on YouTube, and I don't know what the channel is right now, but it's the cat person versus the dog person. Have you seen those? Where it's like you got this guy and he has one roommate that's like a cat, and then he has one roommate that's like a dog. But it shows the two sides. The two sides, rather than being a wild side and a docile side or a civilized side, you have your dog side, your excitability, and then your mysterious kind of cat side. So there you have the crawfish at the bottom, and of course it's mechanical and golden and shiny and focal. Now this card brings in something that we don't see in all the other ones. It's this river. You see the river? Now we've taken the path, and instead of it being a waterway going this way and then a path going this way, it's just straight up river going this way. What?
You know how it's metal? It's kind of like it reflects the light?
Yes, it's also reflecting the light. It's illuminated because it's much brighter than the cat and the dog.
They're kind of like in the shadows.
In the shadows. Laying low. Victorian Steampunk Tarot came in next. This is our last 5.5 score card.
I kind of like this one.
These all got partial credit for the road because the road wasn't there.
And you see how, there's a taller tower? It's like the stronger animal dominates the other one. It's like one part of your mind dominates the other side of it.
In what now?
This tower is bigger than this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I don't know about that. I don't know that I like that particularly, now that you're pointing that out, because I'm all about balance. But I guess whenever you're talking about the moon, It does make sense because that would be when you're
balance.
No, the moon. Yeah, well, the moon is what brings out your darker side. It brings out your wild side, and I think the lunacy thing, and so that's why the wolf.
Representing that one side dominates the other.
Right. It's showing that the wolf side's kind of being activated. Good point. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I tend to want to see balance, but you're right. In this particular card, it makes sense for the animalistic side to be more accentuated. Or like we saw in that other one, in the Magical Forest Tarot, where you saw the crawfish bigger, that aspect of those irrational fears, and the moon being bigger, and they kind of played down the whole animal side thing. But here's the Victorian Steampunk Tarot. Another interesting thing to note here is that there are flying fish rather than crawfish, which I think is it's an acceptable. It's kind of like the bats. It's different, but I like it because obviously flying fish can come and go out of the water as they want to, similar to a crayfish. But I don't think I gave credit for that at all.
Hey, Mom, do you notice that there's a rock right here?
And it doesn't look like I gave partial.
There's a rock right here.
Yeah, but I don't really think that's important. So that's the Victorian Steampunk Tarot. Next we have the Paulina Tarot and Vertigo Tarot, and those both had 5 points.
This one has a crab.
So yes, Paulina Tarot has a crab, and it only has one animal that seems to be kind of like a hybrid. She does the fantasy creature thing, so her little creature is dog-like, but obviously something different. And then we also have the snake over here, which is something that she's kind of added. The moon is very similar in that we have the little sun ray looking type things, reflections coming off of it. We have the face on the inside, and we still have kind of this gateway looking trees here that are making this boundary, and then you have the river. So again, we don't have a path on the ground with the river running this way. We have the water as the path. It's moving this way. And then there's the crab, in case you couldn't see it. So I like the Paulina Tarot, always do. Vertigo Tarot, this is actually pretty vanilla compared to some of the cards. Some of theirs are really out there, but the Vertigo Tarot, was pretty vanilla on this one. We do have indistinguishable animals. These are two, looks like dog skeletons.
It doesn't look like the moon, it looks like Mars.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't. You're right. It's very swirly. It doesn't look like the surface of the moon. It's Jupiter. And then we have the towers on each side, and these are kind of like city towers. They're like skyscrapers that are on each side. And then we don't really have... You see, again, this is similar to Tarot of Magical Forest. You see this crawfish? You see how dominating it is? Here's the pinchers and the head. And then we don't really have a clear path. I think we're looking at a ditch here that goes between. So you still have a gateway of sorts, but it's not as obvious. They've played it down and kind of blended it into the card, so it's not something they're trying to, I think you get the gateway feeling here, and you have this kind of orby stuff going on there in the middle. Vertigo Tarot. It's out there. Out there. Gilded Tarot Royale came in next. Is another Ciro Marchetti deck. This is 4.5 points, and it also tied with Legacy of the Divine. So both of these next two decks are the Ciro Marchetti decks. So here we have the Gilded Tarot, and this one's very, this deck has a steampunky, all of his decks kind of have that aspect to them, very mechanical. So we have here, rather than a globe, we have the moon situated in this sort of, I don't know what you call that, globe holder. The globe holder. It's got it in there. I know there's a technical name for it, but...
It shows as a gateway.
I didn't look it up. So we have a dog, and we have a wolf, and we have a big old crab. So again, it's a little bit bigger, but there's still more of a sense of balance, maybe kind of like we see.
Up.
Yeah. Well, and Ciro Marchetti he's got a very balanced card. I like that. We've got the little tower things here, and then I don't know about all this. But whatever. So pretty. Then we have Tarot, Legacy of the Divine Tarot. Tarot. I just say it over and over. This one is very relaxing. I love the color scheme of this card.
Looks meditating.
It does look very meditative. We've got the triple moon goddess symbol here. We've got these two dogs, and they look very similar, and they're dogs, obviously not wolves. It's like that Egyptian dog that you see all the time. And then again, we have these Egyptian figures on each side showing that kind of a gateway. You have the moon. There's no face in it.
That moon looks like the one from that really nice card that got 8 points.
Yeah, we do have water. And I want to show you something interesting.
She looks.
I wonder if it's on this one
She
too.
or he looks like the gateway.
No. Look at this crab, okay, guys? You see this crab? And I know Ciro Marchetti, his stuff is done like kind of on a computer, so I'm sure he gets able to just use this stuff over. Look at this crab. Does that look like the same exact crab to you? Look at that. It's like the same exact crab. He just kind of like cut and pasted it and moved it and made it a little smaller or something. I noticed that when I was looking
Is it
through
the same
these.
exact guy?
Yes, it's the same artist, and he's done 3 of these decks. And I think that one's like it's like he modified this crab and stuck it into that card.
No, but it looks like she's the gateway.
I'm on to you, Ciro! You didn't draw 2 crabs. I didn't think you did.
No, it looks like she's on the gateway. Like she's the gateway.
Well, she might be. That's possible. I don't know. Or she's just under the influence of the moon. She's
Like a mermaid.
very natural looking right now. Her natural state.
Breezy birthday suit.
Next we have... She is having a blast. Next we have... the, what is this?
That is...
Come on, you speak the French.
It's the moon.
Joie de vivre, Tarot.
Oh, I don't even know.
It's the moon. Oh, you didn't know that?
I'm on the
Joie de vivre.
Joie de vivre.
There you go.
Mine sounds better.
I love this deck. I just always do.
Looks like Paulina Cassidy.
Yes, I love the little... No, it doesn't. Have you ever seen her? Doesn't look like her.
No, the picture, the drawing.
It is Paulina Cassidy. This is her other deck. Well, my little art critic caught that one at least. I was like, it doesn't look like Paulina Cassidy. Have you ever seen her? It doesn't look like that.
Doesn't.
Yes, it looks like her artwork.
She has wild hair.
That's because it's Paulina Cassidy. So, yes, I love her. I love this deck so much. I think it is so cool. And I love the little owls. And I love that there's 3 of them because it makes me think of my 3 little owls. She's playing the violin, which I think is kind of a neat addition to this card. And again, we have a little crab down here. She and Ciro like crabs. They don't do the crawfish for whatever reason. These are the little wise owls here.
Maybe because crabs mean more to them than crawfish.
Well, and crab is connected to Cancer, which is one of the signs of the Sagittarius. I mean, of the Sagittarius, of the zodiac. And then we have the little twinkles out here. These look like stars rather than actual reflections of the moon. But
it looks
whatever.
like those little things that drop out of the moon that you were talking about.
Yeah, and then down here you can see there's like a little star in the water. I don't know what that's about, but I like it.
Let me see.
See that? Maybe it's a starfish. I don't know what's going on with that. Next is Tarot of the Hidden Realm, and this one got 2 points. I'm sorry, I didn't tell y'all what the other stuff got. Gilded Royale and Legacy of the Divine had 4.5 points. Joie de Vivre had 3.5 points. Hidden Realm has 2.5 points. It has a moon, it has a road, and I gave partial credit for the wolf-werewolf thing because she's obviously in animal mode right now. So
Beast mode.
Beast mode. I really like this card. I think this is a cool. It's so different.
The influence of the moon.
But it's like so primal. She's gone animal. She's gone a little Wendigo, and she's crawling around in the woods with horns on her head.
Pop goes the weasel, because the weasel goes pop.
So yeah, but I think it's beautiful. I love this version
I like her
of the
hair.
moon. Yeah, I do too. She's so wild, like a wild woman. I love it.
She's like.
Next we have the Alchemy 1977. Now this one, for a while, these are all 2-pointers, all the way through Wildwood Tarot. So in case I forget to say something, Wildwood Tarot is the last 2-pointer. Going forward, all of these have 2 points. Alchemy. We got a werewolf, we got a moon. Alchemy, whatever.
I don't like that deck. It's all bad.
77. It is pretty dark. Yeah, it's kind of one of those decks. It's almost kind of dark, like almost too dark.
Nothing that represents anything.
Well, it's a good shadow deck. Yeah, it does represent, and this definitely has it because you see that the werewolf is the essence of the moon card. I mean, like the whole lycanthropic theme itself is basically the moon card. It's your inner beast coming out and, being influenced by, the cycles in the universe, basically. And so this is, a beautiful... I actually kind of like this one. I do like this one.
I like how it's chained down. Like
Next,
it's like it's civilized, but it's also like...
Well, it's being controlled, but boy, just barely. You can see it's breaking chains. The chains are snapping. So that's only going to last so long.
I'm going to break the chains.
Where's Van Helsing when you need him? Here's the Bohemian Gothic Tarot, another very dark deck.
One.
You don't like this one?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't like the artwork.
You don't like the artwork? Well, I think it's kind of pretty. I think it's very calm. I'm actually surprised that this deck didn't go darker with this moon card. More like that, say, maybe, because this is a pretty dark deck. But this is actually a very pretty card out of this deck.
I like the vampire.
Oh, well, just wait. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it's like so low, but it's so pretty.
Gypsy Palace Tarot.
No. Looks like a marker drawing.
Y'all know I struggle with this deck.
I'm just kidding.
No, we don't laugh at other people's artwork, but
I'm just going with the mood of this situation. It's like the awkward
Why you
silence.
gotta be so rude?
Because it's awkward silence.
No, we have a moon, and it's reflecting in the water, like you noticed with some of the other cards. So we do have that kind of reflection, and we have these little light sprays all over. So she is, showing that the moon is reflecting light everywhere. Everywhere, light everywhere. And then we have, this is something that I would be interested to get some feedback on from you guys. We got 2 paths instead of 1.
Maybe because you can choose your destiny.
And I tried doing the thing where maybe she's drawing negative space or something. No, these are 2 paths that this
maybe because
this figure has come
maybe
to.
It's kind of like just choose wisely, choose your own path.
Or it's representing the two halves of the psyche. With the 2 different paths, but they come together in one destination. Come together in one brain. I don't know.
Maybe because you can choose any path, but you'll come to the same thing.
That's right. Maybe so.
Maybe it's the end of the path. Maybe it's the beginning.
That's right. Well, I would hope at the end, because she looks like she's coming up to some water there. You might want to slow it down. The moon.
This is like one of my favorite
Inner Realms
cards.
Tarot. Oh, look, we got some sunlight messing with us. Sunlight.
Because the gateway is like the hand. In the
Yes,
waterfall.
this is actually one of my more favorite cards out of this deck. Y'all know I've struggled with this one because some of them are just so abstract. But this one is really, really pretty. It's got the moon. It's got a tree, so it shows that renewal aspect of the moon card.
And it has a bird and a tree in the background. It's kind of which is kind of like the cat, the wolf and the dog. They are very similar. The bird lands in the tree.
Well, and this also has kind of like a
Similar.
life-giving. This is
and it's lighter at the tip of the hand.
nurturing.
Like it's kind of like the pathway. This is where you're going to end up. At the
Yeah,
bottom.
your eye kind of moves in a shape here. Whenever I look at the card, my eye goes here first, and then to the hand, and then to the tree. So if that was the artist's goal, bravo! You totally controlled my mind. Just like the moon. That's a good card.
Yeah. I'm under the influence
That's
of
creepy.
the moon.
That moon card told my brain what to look at. Revelations Tarot. I've been reading mixed reviews on this deck
Let me see what it
for
looks
people
like.
that do reversals and don't.
There's 2 sides of you. There's this side of you and there's this side
Well,
of you.
you
And
have
there's also
you have the spontaneous, lively part of the moon, the fun part that brings out the the spontaneity and the life. And then whenever you turn it over and look at the reverses aspect, you see that we have mermaids and we have men, and the men look like they are drowning, and the mermaids look like
They're
they're
saving
not
them.
No, I don't know what they are.
Or they're just drowning them even more.
Yeah, it just looks like, how you hear about, like the legends or the myths of the mermaids pulling the sailors into the water and dragging them
Maybe
to the
because they're
depths?
under the influence of the moon.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like it could go either way. Sometimes the influence is good, and it's happy, and it lifts you up and brings you happiness and lightheartedness. And sometimes the moon can bring you down and make you feel like you're just drowning.
Maybe that's why it's on the bottom of the card.
So, it's a reversal. This card does reversals. Next we have the Wildwood Tarot, and this one is a very simplified version.
I don't like that one.
I'm not crazy about this one either, and I really like this deck, but this isn't one of my favorite cards of this deck. I just feel like it leaves a lot out. I don't feel like there's quite enough there for me to go off of. Some of these cards in this deck have some great symbolism, and she does a great job on this particular one. I don't have enough. I would like to see a little bit more, but it's pretty. It is what it is. It's not an ugly
It's
picture.
still pretty though.
Yeah, I mean the picture doesn't put me off. If we're going to be analyzing the moon cards and comparing them to other moon cards, there are other moon cards that I like better than this one. But that certainly doesn't hurt my opinion of the deck. I still love that deck. Okay, now this one has a really weird aspect to it, and this is why I really wish I had my notes right now, because I actually went into the Wildwood Tarot guidebook and looked this up, because I'm like, what the deuce is that? This is a primal egg from what everything starts from. Do you see
There's
that
a glare,
egg?
like, yeah, like right here.
Yeah, it's an egg. Look at it real close. There's a primal egg,
Look
and
at
this
egg in the water.
Yeah, and this water or swamp, so to speak, is like the primordial placenta or nurturing
Giving life.
habitat that this egg is going to thrive in. There's that. And then we have the birds flying overhead, and we have the crazy
Influence.
steer here going cray-cray in the moonlight. Again, this deck is kind of doing its own thing, so it obviously isn't very much like the Rider-Waite-Smith, but I still think that it kind of brings in another aspect when you're starting to talk about this primal egg and the root of where everything starts. They're bringing in some other stuff into the moon card that isn't really
There.
covered so much in the Rider-Waite-Smith version. Alright, now the rest of these all got 1 point. There were no 0 pointers, thankfully. These all had 1 point because they all have at least a moon in them, so they all got a point. And most of these, it looks like that's about all they got is the moon.
But I really like this one.
I know, hold on. So first we have Archeon Tarot, we have Naked Lady, because this deck likes to put lots of naked ladies. I love the Raven. I think this is cool, but my favorite part about this card is this Medicine Man. It's like a Shadow Man down here. It's the wild side. And I love that. It's almost like voodoo. It's kind of a voodoo thing.
Oh, look. It looks like the bird is a reflection of her. Like, that's her wild
Like
side,
it's her shadow. And if you look down here, this Medicine Man or whatever, this shaman or whatever, it has feathers. Looks like you can see that it's got feathers on their head. So it's like an animalistic, you've got that animal aspect. And then you have the moon and all of its cycles going around the big moon. So this is a pretty cool card. I like that Archeon Tarot card. The moon for the Deviant Moon.
They're under the influence of the moon dancing.
I love this version of the moon. Love it because it rocks. I dig puppet strings. That's why I like some of those devil cards so much. Digging puppet strings. They are completely under the influence. Completely under the influence. Okay. Then we have the Hobbit Tarot, which I'm not normally fond of, but I like this one because obviously Gollum, who used to be Smeagol, it is very appropriate to see him sitting under the moon, and he's actually calm here. He's not being nutso like he normally is.
And the moon looks down at him like the moon's mad.
Well, no, the moon's smiling though. The moon looks like it might be bringing him some comfort.
Oh, it's smiling.
Because you know how Gollum likes to talk to himself. Shadowscapes Tarot. I always love these. I just wish that the cards were like 5x7 because I feel like I'm missing stuff in these because they're so freaking tiny pictures. And it's really hard for you guys to see because of this glare that's coming from... There we go. Is that better? It's really hard to see because it's so freaking small, and I feel like I get ripped off sometimes when I'm looking at these, but it's this woman, and she's holding a mask, and then she has her other hand up, and it has a heart in it. It's a very calm-looking moon card. It's actually a very serene moon card compared to what we see from a lot of them. And, of course, this is just a gorgeous deck. It's just pretty small. What is this one again? Steampunk Gods of the Machine. We've got the moon. I like this one's kind of cute. If you look really, really closely in the window there, you can see this little crazy man. He's hanging upside down. You have to look really close. It's pretty cute. But anyway, that is the moon for the Steampunk Gods of the Machine, and basically it just had the moon, but it's got this little starship, and it's got this little dude, and he's like hanging upside down in the window, and he's got these little red goggles on, and he just kind of looks kind of nutty.
It's like a robot man.
Yeah.
It's cute.
I like it. I like it a lot. Me too. And then, I love these two cards so much. I love them both.
Me too.
I love them both with all my heart. Then we have the moon by the Tarot of Sweet Twilight, which is one of my new decks. Oh my gosh, look at that moon card. I love it. It's got the heart on its face. This is a more loving moon, definitely still very imposing, and plays a very central role in this card. And then we have the figure down there at the bottom that's kind of dancing under the moonlight.
It shows
mysterious moonlight.
It shows very much empathy.
David Bowie there. Yes, there's obviously a connection. You even see this little orbs of light that she's kind of sending up. There's a good connection with the moon there, a very comfortable connection with the moon. Much different than what we saw like in the alchemy deck, where it was like the moon was bringing out all of this pain and anger and aggressiveness and turning, the werewolf was coming to life. Here we see more of a positive aspect of the moon influencing us.
So sweet.
And bringing us to a dreamland. And then we have Owl Moon 513's very favorite deck in the world.
I like this one.
The Tarot Vampires. And it's absolutely gorgeous. She's creepy as hell. These white vampires really freak me out. When you're a dark vampire or like a redheaded vampire, you're wearing black clothes, that's in my comfort zone. I'm used to it. It doesn't freak me out. These white vampires freak me out.
I would hate to see her feet under my curtains.
Oh my god! Scary!
But it's just bare feet, not shoed feet, just bare feet.
Yeah. She'd probably have her toenails painted red. Bet you money. Anyway, here we have
I like
the
her
moon.
hair. Like, her veil is blowing to one side, but her hair is blowing to the other.
It's true.
Two sides of her.
It's true. One side is veiled and one side's free and open. We have the cemetery in the background, of course, because it's vampires. And then we have the blood, because you gotta have blood. You got vampires, you got blood. So there's blood on her little, I guess she's been cutting corn. Well, no, she's obviously been cutting something else with something that you would normally cut corn with. So, anyway, there's the Tarot Vampires. Beautiful. That's it. That's all we have for the moon.
All we have.
Hope you enjoyed it. What was your favorite again?
I think it was either the vampire one or the one with, like, the hand and the tree.
Oh, the Inner Realm. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like the one that was, like, they were guards. And they were like, and it looked like the man on the.
Oh, that's the light gray tarot.
Cute.
Yeah, I like that one too. All right, you guys, put comments below. Let me know what you think, and talk to me about that Gypsy Tarot card because that one was kind of different. That's the only one I had that had two paths. So let me know what you think about that.
It's a pretty cool card.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. All right, y'all have a great day and blessed be.